All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Today is day 7 of paying my bills with dividends. So pretty excited. Today is Green Day. If you know what that means the stock market is going up. So yesterday was Red Day, and it was pretty fun buying. But today is Green Day, so not so fun buying, but cool to see the numbers going up. Did get paid some more dividends, so we're going to go over that. And I actually created another sheet on how many dividends I'm getting, and then we can kind of track what we're doing. More exciting than any of that is in the Robinhood account I'm using. I finally hit the $2,000. So that means I can turn on margin. So depending on how long that takes, I may be buying with margin today. I'm not sure. I haven't turned it on yet. If not, then for sure tomorrow. So hopefully they just say go because I hit the $2,000. So as you guys know, I'm investing $300 every single day into dividend investments, and I'm going to go over the strategy here in a minute on what I'm using. This is, of course, my own money, real live money, into a brand new Robinhood account I started 7 days ago. So 7 business days ago. So I don't invest, of course, on the weekends, and but I'm going to do $300 every trading day. So, for example, this weekend is Easter, and so Monday the stock market's going to be closed. So I'm going to pick up and put $600 in on Tuesday. So I will do $300 per trading day, but if there's a holiday that falls on a weekday, I'm going to make it up the following day, and that way I've got the full $300 in there. So that's kind of how I'm going to operate with that. But pretty excited. Dividends are rolling in. I'm sitting here in beautiful Idaho and in front of my fireplace, and I've got a cigar in my hand and coffee over here, and so we're going to get some investing done. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get after it. All right, before we get into the strategy, I'm going to bring this up. This is not financial advice. This is just me playing with my own money on YouTube, more for my own entertainment. If it entertains you as well, great. So I am not a financial advisor, and I'm just investing my own money. So don't take my advice. If you are investing your own money, you're going to want to do your own research. Money is hard to get, and it's easy to lose. So kind of take a look at the different things that different people are doing. Read some books, educate yourself. I'm all about education. Education is key during the business day, well, which is right now, but most days I'm spending my time educating people on how to run businesses properly. And I am an expert in that, and I'm an advisor on businesses, particularly blue collar ones, obviously Blue Collar Connect, but I don't give financial advice. I'm just playing with my own money here. All right, so there's my disclaimer, and let's get into my strategy. I've got a pretty cool strategy here that I've done before, a similar strategy, but this is strategy number 7. So I've been dividend investing for over a decade now. It took me about 3 years on my last strategy, which was strategy number 6, to get financially free. And so that's kind of where we're at now, is we're on strategy number 7. So I'm modifying it a little bit and seeing if I can speed up my process. So last time it took me 3 years to get all my bills paid, and now I want to do it in half the time if I can. So we're going to find out if that works. So all right, so here's the strategy: grow my dividend income to cover all my personal expenses. I created what I call my wealth snowball, which means that I'm going to see how fast I can get my house bills paid for, starting with the smallest first. So kind of like Dave Ramsey's debt snowball, where he takes your smallest credit card and we pay that off, pay the smallest debts first. We're going to do it with our house bills, and we're going to pay our bills faster. So my water and trash bill, you can see I put all these in here, and it totals out to $8,580 a month. So that's kind of where we're at. I just took all my bills as they came in and put them in here so I can keep track of them. And obviously my car fuel costs have gone up a little bit with what's happening in Iran. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just going to keep it right around $400 a month. And then, that's a thing that fluctuates on a regular. And then, of course, my car insurance, as I get more kids moved out, and that's going to go down, and it's going to go up as more kids start driving. So all over the place, as probably most people are. All right. And I always set up a payment plan with the IRS. So that's what this is. My tax payment, is how much I set it, pay into my taxes. All right. Strategy here is I'm using weekly payers, which didn't exist the last time I started my last strategy. Obviously, these are new ETFs. Some of them have been sketchy. Some of them have been okay. And so I'm hopeful that the ones that I picked are good. I did a lot of research on those. So that's kind of where we're at. on those. So I want to get a total of a 35% total return on those. And I have a strategy to do that involves reinvesting back into them and dollar cost averaging. So I'm going to do shares of weekly pairs will be bought evenly per number of shares, not by number of dollars. Somebody asked me that again the other day, even though I say this on every video. I'm like, yeah, I'm not evenly putting the money in. It's just too much of a calculation thing for me. And so what I'm going to do is just buy one share of each one evenly, and then I'm going to dollar cost average as time goes on. So I'm going to invest $300 a day. And, did get hit up on that this morning. Why $300 a day? That's hard to get. Well, the reason I'm doing $300 a day is because it'd be pretty boring if I was doing $20 a day. And so, and I have the $300. I have the $300. So that's kind of it. As you can see here, the $300 a day into the weekly payers, and I'll reinvest the dividends back into those until I have $400 a month in distribution, so about $100 a week. And we're going to go over the distributions here in a little bit so you can kind of see those and where we're at. All right. And then I'm going to invest, once I hit that $400 a month, I'm going to then take 50% of the distributions and put it into some monthly payers. And I've built out a list of the monthly payers so you'll be able to see those and, which ones I'm considering. So we're going to go over those here in a minute. If you have some that you think I should add, feel free to comment them. I am reading all the comments. So go ahead and put those in the comments below, and I will read them. I'll respond to those comments. And if you think you have a monthly payer that kind of fits my strategy here, then feel free to tell me, and I'll add that to the list and take a look at it. So once the account has reached $2,000, which it has, then I will turn margin on Robinhood. So we're going to go through that today. I haven't done that before, so we're going to see how easy that is. And then we're going to use the weekly payers. Once the weekly payers at $400 a month, the $300 a day will also be split 50-50 between the weekly and monthly payers. So that'll be the goal there. But margin 100% will be used on the weekly payers. So as my account, I'm going to be pretty conservative with the margin. I don't want to get a margin call. I have a friend who he has millions of dollars invested, and he uses margin too heavy. And so, as you guys know, the stock market took a major nosedive over the last 6 months. It's been having a correction happening, especially in the last month. And he got a margin call, and I don't do margin calls. So I'm going to be a little conservative, but I'm going to use margin to speed things up. All right, shares of the monthly payers will buy evenly per number of shares, and dollar cost averaging will be used. This will be the same strategy I'm using with the weekly payers. And then the monthly payers, my goal is to average a 10% total return. So, most of them, their dividend payouts are going to be over 10% right off the bat. So, I want to do that because if the shares increase in value, that's great. But that's not my goal here is income, not growth. I'm not a growth investor. I'm a dividend investor. A lot of, my family and people that I know, they're big time growth investors. So I don't like playing that game. That's just not for me. I like increasing my income every single day. That's what gets me going, gets me excited, going, hey, I'm going to focus on dividends. That's just for me. And if you like your 401k and your IRA and you like buying, growth stocks that don't pay dividends, knock yourself out. So that's just not my personal preference. And then I will only be paying my monthly or my personal expenses with the monthly payer. So I won't be using the weekly payers to do that. And then in here, I'm going to go, how many days did it take me to pay these? Obviously, I haven't even started on day 7. I haven't started buying the monthly payers yet. So we're still at essentially day 0 on this. But as soon as the monthly payers start paying dividends, we'll be able to track that pretty well. All right. So with that, let's get over to, the investments I'm using. I don't know why I don't move this over sooner. I have to do this on every video, move the controls. So, all right. So essentially what we're doing here, and by the way, the links to every single one of these things is in the description. So you'll be able to go down, click on click on each of the links, and all the tools that I'm using, Robinhood and Snowball, there's links in there that'll give you a discount, at least on Snowball. So you'll be able to get in there and do that. So, Robinhood told me if I refer people to Robinhood, they'll give me some stock. They did give me $5 worth of stock for signing up, and so that'll show up in my list. But you can use Robinhood. I've always traditionally used Schwab for everything. So, but Schwab doesn't meet the needs for the strategy because their margin costs are too high. Robinhood's about half of what Schwab is, about 5%, and Schwab is about 10. So it makes it a lot more affordable for me to use margin for this strategy using Robinhood. All right, so let's take a look here. We've got the weekly payers are up here. So the monthly contenders, what I call the contenders, are down here, and I did put links in to each one of these so you can research them yourself. You can just click on them and go see. So I try to blend it across multiple different pairs, or different companies. So I've got Nicholas, I've got Roundhill, I've got RecShares, I've got Tap Alpha and YieldMax. I know there's some different ones out there and some new ones that are just coming out. If you like those and you think I should consider them, I'll take a look at them. But here's the weekly payers, and I've got crypto, I've got tech, and so with blocks, I've got crypto, I've got tech in here, I've got individual stocks, so I've got Palantir. And then Robinhood, HOW, is the underlying under that. And the reason I did that is because I'm using Robinhood, and I thought it'd be fun to add that in. And then, the Roundhill top weekly. I know this hasn't been performing well. A couple of people sent me messages going, "Hey, WPay sucked. Do you think Top W is going to be any better?" The answer to that is I don't fucking know, dude. That is the way it is. It's investing. It is what it is. I like their new strategy. I researched it heavily before I added it to the list, as I did all of these. And, I don't know what the stock market's going to do. And anybody who says that they do clearly don't know what they're talking about, because who could have predicted today was going to be a green day? I'm sure there were some people who predicted it and said, "Oh, today's going to be a green day." But it's kind of like, it's March Madness right now. Who's, got their bracket running, right now that didn't get totally busted over the weekend, or over the last 2 weeks. The first day my back bracket was busted. So and I know people who watch basketball all day every day, they're even announcers on those things, and they can't predict it. And the stock market's much the same. So but I can predict that my income is going to go up, and I'm going to make more money on a regular, and that's where I'm at. So I've done well with it over the last decade, and it's going to continue. All right. So I've got Tesla in here with RecShares, and Nvidia in here with RecShares, and then I've got broad market. So SPY and the Qs with so I got the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 in here underlying under these, but they're underlying under the underlying. It's kind of interesting how Tap Alpha is doing those. We're going to see if their Lyft ETFs perform well over time. I've got semiconductors in here with YieldMax's Chippy product, and then I've got more crypto in here. I couldn't find much that I really liked on Thursdays. That's why I added those two in there, and I've done quite well with those over time. And then you can kind of see in here, I've got the monthly ones. So I've got a lot of broad market stuff in here. So everything from NASDAQ 100, S&P, with the Russell 2000. I've got energy infrastructure, real estate, gold. I've got international stuff in here, cryptocurrency. More broad market stuff from JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. I've got more gold in here. I've got the semiconductor, the Target 12 version from YieldMax in here. And then I've got credit, opportunities, which is like lending. And then, this Vista shares, Berkshire Select Income is kind of fun. They're trying to track along with what Berkshire's doing, Warren Buffett and that kind of thing. So I kind of like those. And then, I've got a couple of RecShares ones that I added in here with AIPI and FEPI. I added those in there because I do like what AI is going to do, and then innovation stuff that they're doing with these two funds. So actually, they've done quite well for me in my main account, so that's why I added them in here. So I do own all of these in my main account, all these monthly ones that pay my bills currently. But I own a lot more, and I own some different ones that didn't fit this strategy that have a lower total return than the 10% I'm going for. All right. So let's look at the dividend payouts. This is day 7, and it's growing. As you can see, we're increasing the payouts from each one of these is going to increase over time. So last Wednesday was the first time I got paid dividends, and that's Top W and NVII, and then TSII. And of course, we got paid on Thursday with Chippy, ETH, YBTC, TDAC, and SP T-SPY. And then we got paid on Monday, which was Blocks and Maggie. And then we got paid today which is PLTW and HOW paid out today. So I do have, hopefully this formula is working. It looks like it is. So I've got the sum there of what's happening here. So as this grows, every single day I'm going to come in and add the dividends in here. So we're going to be able to see how much total return I have in the total portfolio based on actual just like the payouts. So this was something somebody requested, and I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do it. So nothing fancy here, just some Google Sheets and Google Docs. And then let's jump over into Robinhood and let's get to buying stuff. Today's a green day, so I hate buying on green days. I really hate it. But you know what? I'm going to invest my $300. But before I do that, let's see if they're going to turn on margin for us. So it had a thing in here on turning on margin, but it went away. So maybe they turned it on their own. I'm not really sure. So we're going to try it and see if margin is now turned on. Yep, I do have it. Look, so margin is now available. So look at that. So my maintenance requirement, and then and I'm not going to go into all that. I'm going to let you go out, and I don't have enough time on this video to go into how margin works, other than you can take a loan out and use your portfolio as kind of collateral for that loan. So they're saying here that I have $303.45 available in buying power, and it's not really telling me what. The one from Schwab is a little bit better. It's easier to figure out. So margin ready to use. I got portfolio balance. I've got my total margin required, and then I got $1,000 interest free because I've got a gold account on here. And of course, I haven't used any margin. And then let's go click on the margin rate so you can kind of see what those are. So right at 5%, that's amazing. So I'm not going to hit that $1,000 for a while in margin. So I'm probably going to wait on using too much of it. I'll probably just use like $30 today or whatever. I'll buy an extra share and see what that does to this before we head out of here. So, but for now, that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to leave that one up. So let's go ahead and get the buy-in. And you can kind of see here's that Berkshire share that they gave me. It's actually gone up a little bit. I still have not been able to sell that. Somebody told me the other day that they'll tell me when I'm able to. And so I'm looking forward to that day because it's messing up my view here. So we did miss out on buying shares of HOW and PLTW yesterday, and YBTC and yes, just because we didn't have the money in the account to do it. So we're going to increase the position here. And because it's a green day, we're not going to be able to buy down our cost too much, but we're still going to go limit buy, try and get as close to that bid price as we possibly can. So you can see that the bid price is $20.80, and then the ask price is $21.08. So I want to get as close to $20.80 as I can. So I'm going to go $20.82 and see if I can get that to pop through there. So, all right. So there's YBTC. Let's go with YETH. I'll increase my position there and do a limit buy and see what we can get this down to. You can see that the bid price is $11.30 and the ask price is $11.36. And so I'm just going to go 2 cents above and see if I can get these to go through. All right. And then HOW, every one of these is up today, massively. HOW went almost 8%. So this is going to increase my cost basis on this, which I'm not too thrilled about, but that's the thing about dollar cost averaging. You buy on green days, you buy on red days, and you stick with it and hope that things turn out the way that they're supposed to. All right. So PLTW, we're also missing a share of that. All right. Let's go ahead and do a limit order on that and then get this to 1136 and see where we're at. All right. So none of those order. Oh, 2 of them went through. So HOW and PLTW both filled. So now we're at 6 shares of those, and those are 5. So I might let those ride for a minute while we start back at the top and get blocks going. So I'm going to increase my position in blocks, and 1285, and it's 1290. So let's see if we can get this for 1287, and Chippy. Let's buy a share of that. All right, 5537 and 5526. 5526 sounds better. So let's do 5528 and see if we can get it down a little bit lower. And then we already bought one HOW today, so I don't want to buy another one because I'll run out of money anyway. So let's buy one Maggie share. And 44.50 and 44.44. The bid price is 44.44. So let's go ahead and go 44.46 and see if we can get that a little bit cheaper. And then NVII, let's increase our position into that one. see, we got $111.12 available. So let's go ahead and bring this down to closer to the bid price. And there's not much difference between bid and ask on this. So let's go one penny above bid price and see if we can get it to crank through there. All right, so TDAX. Let's go ahead and buy one of those. And let's see, 2034. Let's get it to see if we can get it for 2036. And that one went right through. So, all right, so TSYX, TSII, let's go top W. Let's increase our position there. Man, I know you guys can't hear the chime it makes when it buy order goes through. Man, it gets me excited when it does. So it makes a fun chime on here. All right, so I'm down to 33.64, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all these orders through, and let me move this thing out of my way, and we'll go ahead and replace these and see if we can get them to go through closer. So this thing went way up. Let's go 20.92 is the ask price. 20.88 is the bid. So we're going to go 20.90 or 20.89. See if that'll go. Yes. Let's replace that one. 11.32 and let's do 11.33. And that one went through blocks. Let's replace that one and see if we can get that one still for a good value here. As you can see, I'm just going to pop these up about a penny each time, and they are going through. So I was close. I was right on the edge with these things. So all right. So this one is Maggie. Let's replace that order. That one filled, and then YBTC is my last one here. So let's go ahead and add a penny to that. See if that'll go. All right. And it did. All right, so we got all those ones. I still have 33.53 left. So let's go with TSYX and increase my position. The reason I'm doing that, today's Tuesday, TSYX pays on Thursday, and the EX date is tomorrow. So if I own it today, then I'm going to get paid on that on Thursday. So I want that payment. So TSII pays tomorrow, and today's the EX date, so there's no point in doing that. And same thing with PLTW and HOW, which I own 6 of. Those won't pay until next week. So I like getting paid today if I can. So let's do this, or sooner, I should say. All right, so let's knock this down to 2103 and see if that'll go through. I don't think it will. We're going to give that an extra penny actually and see if that'll hang through there. All right. All right, we're down to $12.49. All right, so I've got 7 shares of a lot of things. I've got 6 shares of those. TSII, YBTC does pay on, and so does ETH, pays on Thursday. So I'm going to buy an extra share of those. So I'm going to increase my position on those and see if we can get those ones going. So 11.31 on that one. All right, now I've got $1.18 left. So let me get this order through. Let me bang it through here, and then we're gonna dip into some margin. So not heavy. We're gonna try it with 1 share today. I'm not gonna get too crazy with it, but I'm gonna buy 1 share of YBTC on margin, and we're gonna see what that does. So I'm just gonna test it out. I haven't used margin on Robinhood before. So I want to see how this does. So I got $1.15, and so back over here, I haven't used any of my margin yet. So let's just see if it lets me. So YBTC, I'm going to increase my position. I'm going to do 1 share. You don't have enough buying power to place this order. Reduce quantity or deposit funds. All right. So apparently I don't have margin turned on. They won't let me buy it. So I'd like to. But I think that I'm going to have to figure out why in the world it's not letting me. So it's grayed out. So there we go. We now know that even though margin is on, maybe it's not on all the way. So I'm going to come in here and find out. And it might be this maintenance requirement, thing. So I'm going to come in here and find out what's going on. Margin spending is disabled. So margin isn't just for investing. You can add it to enable margin withdrawal. I'm going to go turn that on, see if that's my problem. So I can do margin investing is enabled, borrowing limit is off. I'm not sure what that is. That's probably just how much I'm allowing myself to do. And then, options collateral. I think this is my problem is I'm using these weekly pairs. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to add $300 in, and I'm going to buy a couple shares of some monthly pairs, and we're going to see if that allows it. So, but I'm going to find out why I can't use the margin, but I think it's because I'm using these weekly pairs that are too sketchy, and so they don't want to do that. So we'll find out if it's available tomorrow when I add an additional $300 in here, and then we're going to start using margin. All right. So with that, I've got all my shares purchased for today. Let's go to Snowball Analytics and do a refresh here and see where we're at. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and sync now, and let's see how our activity, what we did here. All right, 11 transactions, 2 dividends showed up. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and you can see what it was yesterday. And then let's go ahead and do a refresh and see where we're at today. So we're now to $895.13 annually in dividends, which is going to be pretty fantastic. And these are estimated, by the way. These are not guaranteed. So with these weekly pairs, they're all over the place. If Palantir and Robinhood go up, for example, or crypto goes up, those underlyings, then those will pay out more, right? So that's kind of where we're at. As you can see, I invested 2,100, and they have the 495 for the Berkshire shares that they gave me. And then, but I've invested 7 days times 300 is $2,100, and I'm down $17.58 on my account value, which is fine. I'm not too worried about the share prices because since we started this, we've had some bad red days. Today's a great green day, and then obviously it's picked back up, almost returned 5% of the total amount. So today I'm up $95. So yesterday didn't look so good, and that's the thing about these weeklies. One day looks good, the next day looks like crap, and it is what it is. So I don't get too fixated on that. I just want to be able to increase my income. So if you're following along, I want $400 a month in passive income. I'm now at $895. So essentially I'm, a little over 1/6 of the way there. So, we're going to speed up this process when we start being able to use margin. We're going to be able to get this thing crack-a-lacking a lot faster. All right. So dividend calendar, let's take a look at that. And then, all right. So my annual income, $824 in here. It's always interesting to me that this number and this number are different, but we'll just go with this one. We're at essentially $68, almost $69 a month, and the daily equals $2.26. My yield is 39.71, so I'm over that 35% I've been going after. Today's the last day of March. I don't know why Snowball's been doing this thing where the dividends on that particular day don't show up in this calendar. I think they've got a bug going on. It's kind of weird. All right. So what are we going to get the rest of this week? So Wednesday, we're going to make, tomorrow, we're going to make $4.55. And then on Thursday, we're going to make about $6.70 is what they're estimating on those. I don't think they've announced those dividends yet. So, but this is historical, kind of where they're estimated. You can see it's estimated per share. And then over here, estimated, that kind of thing. So we're going to find out. So I think that we're well on our way to crushing this thing and making it happen so we can go to my goal. And I'm still 3 years, it says. So as I mentioned before, I did this before and it took me 3 years. I'm still on track with this portfolio. I want to do it faster. And I think once I get access to margin, that I'll be able to speed this process up. So right now I've got dividend reinvesting turned on down here. Something that people are like, you have dividend reinvestment turned on this calculator. I do. And then my dividend yield, what it is currently, and then my growth I put at 0 because I have no idea what it's going to be. So I didn't change anything there. And then I didn't do inflation or, anything in here. And then, but you can kind of play with this. If you've got Snowball, it's kind of fun coming in here and seeing how this is all going to work. So there's a lot of different tools in here that you can use. Like what my diversification is, what my dividends payouts are. So let's go back to this main screen real quick and take a look at a couple things. Number one is, what's going up and going down. I like looking at this view and seeing how things are going, especially in my main account where I've got hundreds of different holdings. I can come in and see what's down on a given day, and allows me to go, hey, I got something I can dollar cost average down, at that time. And then recent events. So these are dividend payouts. When the EX dates are, you can kind of look at this one and determine when things are going to pay and when you need to own it in order to get paid on it. That's in here, so you can see EX dividend to date, like I talked about earlier, on TDAX and TSYX and YBTC, and of course YETH is going to be in that list. So tomorrow I have to own these in order to get paid on them on Thursday. So you can see if I own it, the EX date, I own it on this date, then I get paid on this day. So, and I don't know why YETH is not in this list, but I think they've limited it to just a certain number of views. All right. So, but that'll give you an idea of how to use that. And then the dividends received, what my dividends are, and that number is different than this number because it hasn't calculated out the dividends that paid today yet in this list. So that'll be in here tomorrow, and so we'll go back and take a look at that. So great view, great way to see things. I love looking at this. I'm obsessed with this, by the way. On my main account, I just sit there and I'm like, how much am I getting paid tomorrow? How much am I getting paid on Thursday? And I get excited, and it inspires me. The thing about Snowball Analytics that I love the most is that it inspires me to invest more. And so because this graphical view, it almost it gamifies the thing for me. So as you can see, every single day. Yesterday, this number was 69. It's now $80 for next month. And so I know that me investing more money equals more money in my pocket. That's my goal here, is to increase my income every single day. So I don't know what job you could have, or what you could do out there besides owning a business, which I strongly recommend owning a business for certain people. But you can increase your income every single day with dividend investing, and that's why I love it so much. So all right, that's what I got for you all today. I'm going to go get on with Robinhood support and see what I need to do to get margin turned on, and see how fast we can start using that. All right, thanks everybody, and good luck investing. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.